It is my great pleasure to present the closing film of the 45th Durban International Film Festival, The Showerhead.
By the middle of 2008, I was angry. I came up with this idea and I got such a shock.
My immediate reaction when I saw that cartoon was, fuck.
Mondli phoned me up and he said, "Eish, comrade, this is hectic."
Once you've seen it, there ain't no going back.
I think the whole nation recalls turning to this page in the Sunday Times and going, "Oh my God."
It was the most controversial, most shocking cartoon in the history of South African cartooning.
Sitting in the theatre, you could hear the audience laughing at appropriate parts of the film, but we also had the irony of a further attempt to suppress the film, because at the time the film reached the analysis of Jacob Zuma, we had Zuma supporters engaging in a protest, trying to drown out the film by singing.
The idea that somebody can protest against something that they don't like, that must be upheld, but not by interrupting the sort of manifestation, whether it's a play or a movie or anything else. The protest should happen beforehand or afterwards, not during, not trying to drown out something that is being said in support of freedom of expression, as is this movie.
Actors such as Jacob Zuma, who will use all kinds of devices to avoid being accountable, and that's the role of critics like Jonathan, who continue to hold those in power to account and to expose their wrongdoing.
Many of these young people have seen my cartoons many times. My cartoons are used in schools, in exam papers, they're used by some of the teachers, they're used in many subjects.
Featurette is considered one of the top 10 best cartoonists on earth.
I tend to really go into attack mode when people are trampling on other people's rights. Already with a cloud of corruption hanging over his head, Zuma suddenly has a rape trial. I attached to him physical embodiments of all the different things that he'd said. I also put this shower on his head. I mean, at that time I had to write for AIDS prevention.
It was difficult to actually look at Zuma without thinking of the Showerhead.
And he needed these corruption charges to be dropped so that he could become president. I came up with this idea and I got such a shock.
My immediate reaction when I saw that cartoon was, fuck.
And Mondli phoned me up and he said, "Eish, comrade, this is hectic."
Once you've seen it, there ain't no going back.
And I think the whole nation recalls turning to this page in the Sunday Times and going, "Oh my God."
It was the most controversial, most shocking cartoon in the history of South African cartooning. I doubt whether in the history of cartooning there's ever been a more vivid portrayal of the war between the pen and the sword, and the pen was winning.
The Showerhead is now a device to actually shoot water to put out the flame of free speech.
Featurette is a wonderful example of fighting for the truth, not backtracking, standing by one's guns and speaking truth to power. Ooh, yeah.